Welcome. I am your Polkadot Specialist Var, and today we're going to go over the DED, the dot is dead meme coin. And what happened? We have some drama. But anyway, if you like this particular episode, please like and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Now we're going to get into this and we're going to answer a few questions. Some of the things we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about my first thoughts on some of the changes with the DED meme coin, the DED meme coin. We're going to talk about who's behind the changes. And we're going to talk about what are the changes and why. So that's what we're going to get into. Now, with some of the stuff that kind of happened, what it kind of reminds me of is when you get into the movie theater and you're watching the movie and there's these plot twists at the end, and it was just so unexpected, and you're kind of left at the end like, I don't know if I really like that much, so that's kind of like what happened recently with the DOTisDED meme coin. But I do think at the end, it may not be as bad as what people may be talking about. I am pretty close to a lot of people in the community because I'm in a lot of DAOs and groups and forums, getting information, just reading up on different projects. And because I've been in the space about 4 years now, I've got to know some different individuals that know some information. So I have people close to the situation that happened that kind of pointed me in the right direction to kind of give me some information on what's happening behind the scenes. So we're going to talk about that. So my first impressions was, I'll be truly transparent. I had just bought a nice bag of Polkadot. I already had a lot, or a decent amount for myself. I mean, I'm no whale or dolphin or somebody that gets a lot of money. You don't know what those things mean. But for myself, it was quite a nice little bag. So I already had a nice bag, and I wanted to increase my position, specifically because there are some airdrops coming out. So I had the Polkadot, plus I have the varhdx token that was coming, and then we had the DED meme coin airdrop. So airdrop, again, I have this in some of my previous videos. An airdrop is just when you get some free coins, based on having something or being in the right place at the right time. So I had just bought this bag, but it was a substantial amount. So the exchange that I bought it from didn't release my coins for 7 days. And so before you know it, there was a surprise snapshot. And so a snapshot means it's over. They said that it was going to be like 30 days and all types of different things that were going on. They said it was going to be like at least 30 days, enough time for people to get stuff off exchanges. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. So I just went ahead and bought some, but it was a surprise out of nowhere. So that was one of the first things that happened. So I'm like, okay, my first impressions was it was a free coin. I still have the varhdx airdrop coming, and it's Polkadot. So it's one of my favorite projects. I was a little bummed because I kind of felt like I'm missing out on a little bit of opportunity, and I thought I had a little more time. So I was initially disappointed, but in the day, it's a free coin, so I still might have bought the Polkadot regardless to do my Polkadot Bitcoin mining. And if you haven't watched that particular series, I'm gonna go ahead and post it now, which kind of talked about us doing different things in Bitcoin, the Bitcoin mining, and this was an additional thing that we were doing to get additional coins, to help, with what we were doing overall with that particular series. Not to get into that, just watch the series if you want to know more about the Polkadot Bitcoin mining. But for this, we're going to talk about the DED and its changes. So my first impression was disappointment. That was the first thing that I found out, was a snapshot happened way before it was supposed to happen. Right? So that's the first thing. Then the second thing, I find out that instead of it being a community coin like it was supposed to be, somehow, some way, instead of the community getting 80%, they end up getting 5%. I'm like, now, it is a free coin, so instead of me getting 1,000, I'm getting 30 something. This is like not adding up. So I'm starting to like kind of wonder, like what is going on? Because I know people close to the situation. I know these are some pretty nice people that are on the development team. Now there was no actual team controlling it. So I still kind of wanted to know what was going on. Even though it was a free coin, I had kind of did some videos in the past about the DED meme coin, and now there's certain changes. So I'm like, okay, I had to do this particular video so I can clarify what some of these differences are, why, and what I found out. So that's kind of where we're at. So who is behind these changes? Let's first talk about, so what ended up happening was the particular group that was putting together, the developers that was putting this together. At the end, they wanted to give the project to the Polkadot Treasury. Okay, so it was supposed to go to the Polkadot Treasury, but the Treasury had already spent almost $1 million on marketing. So now if they were to take over this project, they were going to have to spend more money to sustain the meme coin, and the community, even though they approved the marketing, they did not approve for them to take on the DED meme coin to sustain it. So because of that, they had to go and get a person that was willing to pay for the project. So they found some investors. Now, initially, there was not supposed to be a team. There was not supposed to be investors. It was supposed to be a community coin that was dropped, with no allocation, to particular people. And all these things were changes in the ninth hour, literally. Now, I can tell you, based on what I know, is that the original developers, did not want these particular changes. It didn't go as expected. So when they handed over the project to the investors, all these were just things that they decided to do at the last moment out of nowhere. They sped up the time. On top of that, they changed all the stuff around, and a lot of people were just left kind of scratching their head. Now, I'm willing to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm not the judge. I have a little patience just to see what happens. I have discovered some unique things, so let's go into it. So those were some of the things that have gone on, and those are my first impressions. Now, who is behind these changes, right? Who is behind these changes? So now we got these early investors. This group is called the Foundation. So the group is called the Foundation. Now, one of the people that's very influential in the Polkadot community, because he has a lot of money, is this Jetto person here that we have on the screen. So Jetto, he is a Polkadot whale. So a whale is somebody that has quite a bit of money. Now it's kind of polarizing. Some of the people that I know that speak about. Now I don't know them, so I'm not going to judge them. I don't know anything about him at all. Until these changes and some of the things that he's kind of disclosed about the changes. That's the only reason why I know anything about them. But I have heard of a particular person with a lot of money that used to always do different things when it came to voting and making changes and different things like that. And some of these things individuals in the community might not have agreed with, but he swings a lot of different referendums and proposals in different directions. And sometimes the community is against those things. And because of that, sometimes people have an issue. Now and again, I really don't know the person, so I'm not going to judge. But I do know I was concerned about some of these changes. So when I kind of heard these stories, I was like, oh, okay, I kind of get it a little bit. Person's probably into trying to get a little more money and things like that. So let's go into some of the things he said himself. And again, this guy's name is Jado or Jado. I might be butchering his name. I apologize. So Jado. So let's get in this particular. Now, I did have some particular questions that got answered that he had posted. So he's saying there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So that's what FUD regarding the DED airdrop. And why wouldn't there be? They went from 80% to 5%, and nobody communicated it. So that's not FUD. That's miscommunication. People are upset because what was said changed out of nowhere. No communication. For many, many months, they said there was going to be plenty of time for stuff to get off exchanges. For many, many times, they had said a lot of different things about 1 dot equaled 1,000 DED and different things like that. So because of these changes out of nowhere, without explanation, without reasoning, people are thinking the worst. Now, he could have good intentions. The foundation and the early investors who could have good intentions. So let's read it from the individual that is a little bit behind some of the things that are going on. So here's some of the difference here. It's going to be 5% is just the initial airdrop. And they put in pretty much quotes or stars, asterisks, initial airdrop. So that's hinting at possibly more to come. That was good for me to hear, right? So we'll see. Wait and see approach. There is a 5% team allocation vested over 2 years. So that's one of the things I was looking for. The people that are getting a percentage now, since there wasn't any before, now we're getting percentage. Now, this particular team is the people that have been over a project for the last 4 months or so. So the individuals that are running the Telegram group, the individuals that were kind of working behind the scenes, they kind of got a little small reward of about 5%, towards allocation of this coin, but it's vested over 2 years. So that means over a certain amount of time, it'll be released to them. So that helps against somebody, putting a whole bunch of coins on the market and dropping the price of the coin. Then here we're getting to some good stuff here. We got 30% for investors is the total amount reserved for investors, not yet fully sold and also vested. Okay, so there is money allocated to take on more money, to actually be able to give coins to people so they can get money to sustain the particular project. So that's why that's there, but they haven't actually gotten all the investors yet. So this is money that they can use for future to bring on individuals, and it will have a vesting schedule, just like the team has. So over time. So if it's just like the team, it might be a 2-year period, but that's a wait and see. It hasn't been said. That's more of a guess. But the previous vesting period was 2 years for the team allocation. You would possibly think that it might be around same lines, but again, time will tell. So we have 30% for ecosystem growth can be used for future airdrops and promotions. So this is where they can actually use more coins to be able to airdrop more in the future. So just like he said before, the initial airdrop is 5%. Now there's another 30% for future airdrops. Okay, and incentivizing different things. So that's actually 35% for airdrops. So that's a lot better than 5%. So that was also good news for me to hear. Then they have 30% strategic reserves for future development and promotion of DED. Okay, so that could be maybe for liquidity to give to different exchanges. That could be for whatever they need to be able to help the project as well, that you might need for having extra coins, So yeah, you do need coins to be able to do other things in terms of having trades and swaps and switching out coins. So they normally have to supply a certain amount to have that eligible on different exchanges. Okay. It says the goal of the foundation is the development and promotion of DED. So that's what they're saying. They're saying that they're not here to cause any issues or anything. They're obviously here to make some money because they sure did allocate some coins for themselves, with the 5% to the team and another 30% for the actual investors. So that's 35%, but it's also 35% for the community as well, and then they have a certain funds reserved for other things. But it says the goal is to pretty much the promotion of DED. It says the DED Foundation is 100% focused on making DED a success and nothing else. It says 100% distributing 100% of the tokens without having the ongoing financial support of the Treasury, that's the Polkadot Treasury, would certainly have led to failure. It is perfectly reasonable to start by distributing 5%, ensuring that there are proper reserves to make DED a success. It says that the DED Foundation, again, this is an investment group, decided to switch to 5% initial airdrop instead of 100% because the community refused to provide ongoing funding. That's the Treasury when they voted it down. You can blame the people that voted against the DED referendum. Okay, so that tells you there. He goes in different things, but essentially the initial airdrop was supposed to be 1,000. I apologize. It was supposed to be 1,000 DED, and it went to 36. So obviously, without proper communication of that, a lot of people might be disappointed. Now, is it a rug pull where people get you in and have you spending money and then they abandon the project? No, because nobody really spent any money. Maybe you took your coins off the exchange. Maybe you got in the Polkadot project, but you still have your assets. You still have those different things that you could swap if needed, and you're still getting the DOTisDED meme coin. You're just getting 36, and then we have to find out in the future when the future airdrops will be. Okay, so that is pretty much what has happened. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. For me, I am happy that there will be future airdrops. I'm happy that there's a vesting schedule for the team over a 2-year period. So that means it's going to help against sales pressure and things like that. I am actually happy that there are a few reserves. I would have been okay with changes of the maybe 40% or 50% because they do need 35 is not bad as long as that whole 30 goes to the community and it doesn't take forever. But I would say having that strategic reserve to be able to give coins to exchanges, possibly varhdx. They have some other exchanges out there as well, such as Polkadot and different things of that nature. where they can hand out coins now to provide for swaps. So these are some different things. I do think that some of this was needed. I think it was piss poor communication, quite frankly. I think it was rushed at the end, especially when a narrative has been one thing. So it could have been handled a lot better. You know, it seemed like people necessarily didn't care. I'm just going to do what I want to do. We're putting this money up. You know, we're going to handle it like we want to handle it versus kind of getting ahead of it. Even if you do make these quick changes, kind of go out there and have a public announcement of exactly what happened. Resting assured, maybe go ahead and tell people, hey, listen, it says 5%, but it will be 35% in the future. You know, rest assured, we have great intentions for this project and for the Polkadot community. These are some different ways that it could have been handled. Okay, but at least it's not as bad as people are thinking. I got people sitting there saying this and that. Man, you should read some in these comments, man. I'm like, I get it. I understand, you know, but it's a free coin, guys. It's a free coin. You know, it is the principle, though. So I'm glad to read these different things by Jado. I'm glad to hear Jado is saying these different things. Again, I don't know the person, you know. Now it's like, you know, you got to wait and see because things didn't go as planned before, and a lot of stuff was said again. But this is a new team versus what the developers' expectations were, and they were a little disappointed based on the feedback I've been getting behind the scenes. But I am your Polkadot Specialist, Var. Please like and subscribe. Until the next time, God bless. Thank you for your time.